Hey guys, Pedro here to tell you about the latest from Enforced, A Leap Into the Dark, their latest EP out October 25th on Century Media Records. It has 6 tracks, 20 minutes in length, and it's the band's first ever EP. They are an American crossover thrash metal band. Now, before I break down all 6 songs, a few points that I must mention in terms of what this release is all about. First of all, out of the 6 tracks, 3 are brand new songs. One was a track that was available on a flexi disc on a Decibel magazine release, and the other 2 are covers. English Dog's version of The Chase Is On, and the cover of Obituary's Deadly Intentions. So there's a lot to be said about these 6 tracks, the choices that they made, creating a little bit of an eclectic experience. But when you look at the sound and when you look at the overall presentation, all 6 tracks merging really well with one another, creating a very cohesive flow from beginning to end, bringing their sound into the forefront, but at the same time infusing a little bit of that early 90s old school death metal approach. And you're going to see a lot of that in the choice for the guitar solos, not just the sound of the solos, but even where the solos are placed in the overall song constructions. So let's start off with Betting on the End. This is the opener, and it's a track that has that traditional riffage, that traditional enforced riffage. It sounds super good. It's like a circle pit style song. It gets the mood going. It's a perfect live track, and it's the perfect way of opening this EP because it gets you going right from the get-go. It's a song that has a lot of energy, great guitar sound. Like I said, great riffage. The drums come in a little bit behind, and that's how pretty much the sound on the entire EP is put together from a production standpoint. You have that more chugging riff in the middle of the sound, then you have some more penetrating guitar sounds that break through that, and then right in behind you have the bass and drums creating a little bit of cohesiveness as far as the overall sound is concerned. This is the prototype of the production across each and every single song, but it's well defined right from the get-go in this opening track. I feel like it's a great song, very complete. Like I said, it has a live vibe to it. It has 2 guitar solos, which I thought was very old school death metal style approach, both in where they come in the song, both in terms of what they offer, but also in terms of how they sound. So great track from a construction and execution standpoint. Like I said, a great way to get things going. Next you have A Leap Into the Dark. A little bit more of an old school opening, old school early 90s death metal style opening in terms of how the song gets going. And it's a track that has this mixture of faster tempos with a little bit more methodic, chugging sounding riffs. So it speeds up, it slows down, it speeds up, it slows down. But this allows the song to feel a little bit more energetic, to create a little bit more of ebbs and flows, almost creating a stop and go feel in terms of how you navigate through it. Now in the slower moments, you definitely feel not only the impact of the drums, but you also feel the impact of the bass coming through. Overall, the track has a great guitar sound to it, and the drums really help create a sense of heaviness, not just in the slower moments, but all the way throughout. The vocals add intensity, they add aggression, and I love the way this song closes off in a more slower, methodic movement, really putting a lot of emphasis on the heaviness of the track. Next we have Deafening Heartbeats. This is a faster moving song, at least in terms of how it opens up. It pushes a more direct perspective in the beginning. In the first 2/3 of this song, you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel because you're just running towards it, but it always feels like it's so far away. So it's a song that becomes a little bit linear, it becomes a little bit narrow, very consistent in terms of the heaviness that it offers, and it's almost blunt in the way that it presents itself. You don't see any ebbs and flows, you don't see any dynamic movements, you just see this movement of going forward in one single direction in a very narrow path. And that allows the song to really rip through those first 2/3 of the track. The solos, when the solo comes in, the solo also matches that same idea, that same narrowness, that same intensity, that same vision. So everything is in line. And then in the last third, the song changes, moves into a more methodic, heavier, chuggier sound that allows the heaviness of the track to sip into the track a lot better. Because the first 2/3, the song is heavy, but because of the movement that it has, that movement almost decreases the sense of heaviness of the track. In the last third, once the song slows down and you don't have that fast movement anymore, it's a lot easier for the listener to absorb the heaviness that the track has been offering all the way along. Next after that, we have Casket, the track that was part of the Decibel release, so a B-side if you will. And Casket is a super short song, but it punches hard. It's under the 2 minutes mark. It's the shortest song on this EP. And you would think a short song like this, especially because it's driven, would feel even shorter. It's not the case. It's a well-rounded track. It has a little bit of a middle break. They found a way of creating a little bit of a reprieve, a slow down moment in the middle of the song that actually gives the track a sense of being a lot longer than what it is. If this track was absolutely ripping through from beginning all the way to end, would feel super short, would perhaps feel almost like as it started as it ended. So having that middle piece that slows things down, that allows the listener to catch its breath, that really helps the track increase in quality. But like I said, it makes the song feel a little bit longer, which also gives the song more playability, making the track more impactful all around. Now we're getting into the covers. The first one, Deadly Intentions, an Obituary cover. Great job on this song. Great job on the sound and great job on the vocals. Because the vocals on this track, up until now, with these 4 songs, which are enforced songs, 3 new ones, one was that B-side, you get, from a vocal standpoint, you get what you expect from Knox. So you're not getting anything different. You're getting his intensity, you're getting his aggression, you're getting his way of becoming part of the song, adding grooviness sometimes even into the way the song is coming about, but always being there with it in the more methodic moments to create a sense of a more intense approach, and then in the faster moments in order to create a little bit more of aggression. So vocally, up until now, everything has been exactly as you would expect from an enforced record or from an enforced track. On this song, he took a little bit of a John Tardy vocal approach, and that blew me away because honestly, I didn't know he had it in him. So when you listen to this track, it honestly feels like an obituary track, not just because of the way it sounds, not just because it is an obituary track, but because of the way he used his vocal performance to kind of image, I'm not going to say copy, but image John Tardy's approach, and he did it extremely well. I was blown away. It really is an interesting cover from that perspective, because they didn't do just a musical cover of the song and then having the regular enforced vocal approach. No, they cover the song musically and vocally. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this before. So really exciting, really interesting from that perspective. Still injecting their DNA, still injecting who they are into this song, but keeping the track really close to the original on both ends of the spectrum. The vocal side really blew me away because I was not expecting that at all. Now the last track on this EP is The Chase Is On, an English Dogs cover, and believe it or not, this is perhaps the song on this release that sounds the most like enforced. I know this is crazy because it has 3 brand new songs and 4 original tracks in total, and it is a cover that sounds a lot more like their 2 previous records. The DNA, the sound, the essence of this track really takes you back to the 2 records that the band has released. And it's interesting that the band chose a cover of a band that has this same sort of approach. I can only assume that they were a big influence on them, because the way they put this cover together really made me feel like this was not a cover at all. If I didn't know any better beforehand, I would have said that this was also an original song by Enforced. It had their DNA in the sound, it had their DNA in the vocals, in the overall song composition. It just drips of Enforced. So interesting cover. I didn't know the original. I had never heard of this band. So to me, this becomes the original song. This becomes an Enforced track. And I think that is the best compliment that I can give them on this cover. This is it. Their EP, A Leap Into the Dark, Enforced, out October 25th on Century Media Records. Let me know your thoughts on the band, on any songs on this release. Hit me up in the comment section. I'll see you all at the next video. Take care, guys.